Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dig in.
Awesome. So today we're looking at the Division 2, and specifically we've got these two sources that are all about tackling elites. You know, those tough-as-nails enemies.
Right.
And they're focusing on how to take them down quickly and efficiently, especially with this modifier called Primetime Active.
Ah, yes, Primetime. Interesting modifier.
Sounds like something our listeners would want to master, especially if they're trying to blaze through that seasonal journey.
Absolutely. Efficiency is key in these types of challenges. Every second counts.
So let's break down Primetime first.
Mm.
From what I'm seeing in these sources, it seems like it gives you a 10-second window to eliminate an enemy.
That's right. At any range, too, which is important to note.
And if you get the kill within that time limit, the whole area within that range is considered covered.
Exactly. Kind of like a zone of control. And to add to that, every kill you get restores 2.5% of the effect.
Interesting. So there's like a refresh mechanic built in.
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's also a damage boost tied into Primetime. So as the effect decreases, your weapon damage actually goes up. Like, for every 5% decrease in the Primetime effect, you get a 5% weapon damage buff.
Okay, so it's not just about speed, it's also about managing this buff and maximizing damage output.
Exactly. Risk versus reward. Right. But there's a bit of a twist here.
Oh, make that.
Well, both sources mention that there's a bug currently active with Primetime.
A bug. Uh-oh. Is it a bad one?
Actually, it might be a good one for players. Seems like the bug makes Primetime act like a passive modifier.
Wait, so you don't even have to activate it, it's just always on.
That's what the sources are suggesting. So you can basically ignore that 10-second timer and just focus on maximizing your damage with the permanent buff.
Wow, that's kind of a game changer. Talk about efficiency.
Right. And speaking of efficiency, both sources outline an 8-step strategy specifically designed to leverage this bug and farm elite kills.
All right, let's dive into that. What's the first step?
Step 1 is all about your build. You're going to want to run a sniper build. And crucially, you need the Determined talent.
Determined. Okay, refresh my memory. What does that one do again?
So Determined basically turns body shots into headshots after you've landed one initial headshot.
Oh, wow. So with a sniper rifle, that's got to be devastating, especially against elites.
Exactly. And that's why step 2 is to set the world tier to heroic.
Ah, okay. Makes sense. Higher difficulty, tougher enemies. But why specifically heroic?
No, the sources imply that heroic difficulty not only increases the challenge, but also seems to up the spawn rate of elite enemies.
Interesting. So you're getting more opportunities to use Determined and rack up those headshots.
Precisely. Now, step 3 is where things get really interesting. The sources recommend heading to a specific control point, Navy Hill in Foggy Bottom.
Okay, so there must be something about that location that makes it ideal for this strategy.
It seems that way, though the sources don't go into specifics. But we can infer that the layout and enemy placement there are conducive to sniping and quickly taking down elites.
Makes sense. So find a good vantage point, pick them off one by one.
Right. And to make things even more efficient, step 4 is to utilize the Truman Safe House to reset the control point.
Ah, so you clear out the control point, fast travel back to the safe house, then head right back to Navy Hill and repeat the process.
You got it. Minimize downtime, maximize those elite encounters.
Smart. So steps 5 through 8 are probably just rinsing and repeating that process, right?
You know it. And according to the sources, with this method, you can take down a whopping 150 elites in just 4 or 5 clears of the control point.
Wow. That's some serious elite farming right there.
No kidding. And if our listeners want to see the strategy in action, both sources point to the ManaWar Gaming YouTube channel.
The ManaWar Gaming. I'll have to check that out. I bet they've got some great Division 2 content.
Definitely worth a look.
So the big takeaway for everyone listening, even in a game like the Division 2, understanding the mechanics and how to exploit them, even little bugs like this one can make a huge difference. That's what makes the Division 2 so great, right? There's always something new to discover, something new to master.
Exactly. So get out there, agents, and experiment. You never know what kind of crazy, powerful builds you might come up with. Good luck!
Until next time, agents.